Before we start, I need to ask you something. If you're only planning to watch the first minute, don't watch this video, seriously, because the most important lesson isn't at the beginning. It's at the end, and if you miss it, you'll probably think this is just another video about making money. It's not. So if you don't have 10 to 20 minutes right now, save this video, come back when you do. Because everything you're about to hear only makes sense when you hear the entire story. Let's begin.
Money doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't care how hard you work. It doesn't reward good intentions. Every morning, millions of people wake up early, fight through traffic, work 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours, and still end the month wondering where all their money went. Meanwhile, someone else seems to make more in a week than they do in a year.
It looks unfair, it feels impossible, but here's what almost nobody realizes. The biggest difference isn't luck. It isn't talent, and it isn't where you were born. It's something much harder to see. Because before money ever shows up in your bank account, it first shows up in your mind.
The strange part? Most people spend years trying to earn more money, without ever learning how money actually works. And until that changes, no paycheck will ever feel like enough. But once you understand what you're about to learn, you may never look at money the same way again.
Picture this. It's Friday, your paycheck finally arrives. For a few minutes, everything feels good. You check your bank account. You breathe a little easier. Maybe you even tell yourself, this month will be different. But then, the rent is due, bills start coming in, subscriptions renew, groceries cost more than you expected, a friend invites you out, your car suddenly needs repairs. Before you know it, most of your paycheck is gone. And you're counting the days until the next one. If this feels familiar, you're not alone. This cycle traps millions of people. Not because they're lazy, not because they're unintelligent, but because they were taught one thing. Work for money. Almost nobody teaches the second lesson. How to make money work for you. That one difference changes everything.
Think back to when you were a kid. You probably learned math, history, science, maybe even a second language. But did anyone ever sit down and teach you how money thinks? How wealth grows? How rich people make financial decisions? Probably not. Instead, most of us were handed the same script. Study hard, get good grades, find a safe job, work hard, save a little, retire someday. There's nothing wrong with working hard. Hard work matters. But here's where things become interesting. Working hard alone has never guaranteed wealth. If it did, construction workers, nurses, factory workers, and millions of parents working multiple jobs would all be millionaires. Yet many aren't, not because they failed, but because effort and financial strategy are two completely different things. This is where most people confuse movement with progress. They're busy every day, but busy isn't the same as building. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water. While there's a hole in the bottom, you can pour faster, work longer, carry heavier buckets, but until you fix the hole, nothing changes. Money works the same way. Earning more without changing your habits often leads to spending more. That's why someone making $50,000 can feel broke, and someone making $500,000 can still end up in debt. Income doesn't automatically create wealth. Behavior does.
Now here's something that sounds almost too simple. Your daily habits quietly tell money whether it's welcome or just passing through. Think about the last time you opened your phone. Maybe you saw someone driving a luxury car. Someone is buying a huge house. Someone posting another expensive vacation. For a second, you compare your life to theirs. Then doubt starts talking. They're ahead. I'm behind. I'll probably never get there. Most people don't realize what happens next. Those thoughts become decisions. You stop taking chances. You stop learning new skills. You stop investing in yourself. You settle, not because you want to, but because your mind has already decided what's possible. And once your identity becomes, I'm just someone who struggles with money, your actions begin proving it every single day. This is the invisible magnet. You naturally move toward whatever story you keep repeating. If your story is lack, you'll notice problems everywhere. If your story is growth, you'll begin noticing opportunities that were always there. Not because the world suddenly changed, because your attention changed, and attention changes action, action changes results.
Imagine two friends. Both start with exactly the same salary. The first friend celebrates every raise by upgrading their lifestyle. Better car, more expensive apartment, new gadgets, designer clothes. Everything looks successful. From the outside, people admire them, but behind closed doors, they're living paycheck to paycheck. Now look at the second friend. They also enjoy life, but every raise has a purpose. Some goes toward learning new skills. Some is invested. Some becomes an emergency fund. Some buys time instead of things. 5 years pass. The first friend wonders why life still feels stressful. The second friend has choices. They can change jobs without panic, start a business, take time off, help their family. Notice something important. The second friend didn't become free because they earned dramatically more. They became free because they thought differently before they spent differently. That's the hidden power of money. Money isn't only about buying things. It's about buying options, and options create freedom.
Here's the strange part. Most people believe they have a money problem. But if you look closer, they actually have a decision problem. Money simply exposes what's already there. Give someone $10, and you'll see their habits. Give that same person $10 million. You'll see those same habits, just on a much bigger scale. That's why so many lottery winners lose everything within a few years. It sounds impossible. How can someone receive millions of dollars and still end up broke? Because money doesn't replace your mindset. It multiplies it. If you don't know how to manage a lot won't magically fix the problem. This is why attracting wealth isn't about wishing for more money. It's about becoming the kind of person who can keep it, grow it, and use it wisely. And that's a completely different goal.
We've all seen them. The person who always seems to find new opportunities. They meet the right people, start the right business, land the better job. It almost looks like luck follows them everywhere. But then, look closer. Most of these people spend years preparing before anyone notices them. While others are watching another hour of videos, they're reading, learning, building, trying, failing, trying again. Success looks sudden only to people who never saw the preparation. Think about an iceberg. Everyone notices the small piece above the water. Almost nobody sees the massive foundation underneath. Money works the same way. People celebrate someone's first million. They rarely see the 10 years of discipline behind it. So the next time you think they got lucky, ask yourself, what did they do when nobody was watching? Because that's usually where wealth begins.
Now here's something unexpected. Your brain acts like a search engine. Whatever question you ask, it starts looking for answers. If you constantly tell yourself, I'll never be successful, your mind quietly begins collecting proof. Every mistake becomes evidence. Every failure feels permanent. Every setback confirms the story. But change the question, and everything starts shifting. Instead of asking, why am I always broke? Ask, what skill can I build that people will gladly pay for? Instead of saying, I can't afford that, ask, how could I afford that someday? Those two questions may sound similar. They're not. The first closes the door. The second opens it. Your brain can't solve problems it never gets permission to explore. That's why wealthy thinkers often ask better questions. And better questions create better actions.
Most people think abundance means expensive watches, luxury cars, huge houses, private jets. But real abundance starts much earlier than that. It begins with your time, your health, your skills, your relationships. Because if someone handed you $1 million today, but took away your health, would you still feel rich? Probably not. If they gave you unlimited money, but no one to share life with, would you feel successful? Probably not. Money is powerful, but it's a tool, not the destination. The happiest wealthy people understand this. They don't chase money because they love money. They build value. Money simply follows. Think about the people or businesses you happily pay. A restaurant that gives you a great experience. A company that solves your problem. A creator whose videos improve your life. Money naturally flows toward value. The more value you create, the more opportunities begin finding you. That's not magic. It's how exchange works.
So what does someone with a wealthy mindset actually do? Not once a year, not when they're motivated, every single day. First, they protect their attention. They know their phone can either teach them or distract them. Every hour spent comparing yourself to strangers online is an hour not spent improving your own future. Second, they invest in learning, because skills usually earn longer than motivation. Motivation gets you started, skills keep paying you. Third, they delay gratification. Imagine two choices. You can spend $50 today, or invest that same money into something that helps you earn hundreds later. Most people choose comfort. Wealthy thinkers choose growth, not every time, but consistently enough that the gap becomes impossible to ignore. Fourth, they stop trying to look rich. This one surprises a lot of people. Many truly wealthy people don't feel the need to impress strangers. They'd rather own assets than opinions, because image can disappear overnight. Real value lasts. And finally, they understand one simple truth. Small decisions repeated for years become extraordinary results. Just like small bad habits quietly become extraordinary problems.
There comes a moment in almost every successful person's life when they stop blaming circumstances, not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because they realize something powerful. They may not control where they started, but they can control what they become. That shift changes everything. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they begin asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Failure becomes feedback. Challenges become training. Every setback becomes preparation for something bigger. That's when money stops feeling impossible, because they're no longer waiting for life to change first. They change first, and life slowly begins responding.
Imagine this. It's 5 years from now. You wake up in the same room. You grab your phone. You check your bank account. But this time, there isn't that familiar feeling of stress. You're not wondering if your paycheck will last until the end of the month. You're not avoiding bills because you're afraid to see the numbers. Instead, you feel something most people spend their entire lives chasing: peace. Not because you're the richest person in the world, but because you finally took control of your money instead of letting your money control you. Now imagine the opposite. 5 years pass, but nothing changes. The same habits, the same excuses, the same financial stress, the same promise. Next month will be different. Be honest with yourself. Which future is more likely if you keep making the same decisions you make today? Because the future isn't built all at once. It's built one ordinary day at a time. One decision, one habit, one choice, over and over again. So, what does it actually mean to attract wealth? It doesn't mean sitting in a room hoping money magically appears. It doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist. And it definitely doesn't mean chasing every get-rich-quick promise you see online. Real wealth is attracted through alignment. When your thoughts, your habits, your skills, and your actions all begin moving in the same direction. Think about planting a tree. You don't plant the seed today and expect shade tomorrow. You water it, protect it, stay patient. Some days it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, the roots are growing. Money works the same way. The effort you make today may not pay you tomorrow. It may not even pay you next month. But if you stay consistent, those invisible roots eventually become visible results. And that's the part most people never see. They quit during the quiet season, right before the growth begins.
Here's one lesson that changes everything. Stop asking, "How can I make more money?" Start asking, "How can I become more valuable?" The person who solves bigger problems usually earns more. The person who learns new skills creates more opportunities. The person who keeps improving becomes harder to replace. Money is often a reward for value, not simply for effort. Two people can work equally hard, but the one solving a problem that helps more people will often earn more. That's why investing in yourself is one of the few investments no one can take away. A new skill, better communication, learning how to lead, understanding business, managing your emotions. These things continue paying you long after you've learned them. Your greatest asset isn't your paycheck. It's your ability to create value wherever you go.
Most people spend years chasing money, running after the next raise, the next opportunity, the next big break. But what if they're chasing the wrong thing? Instead, build the person money naturally follows. Become someone who keeps their promises, someone who finishes what they start, someone who learns even when no one is watching, someone who saves before spending, someone who thinks years ahead instead of only until Friday. Because success has a strange habit. It usually arrives quietly, long before anyone else notices it. It starts in the choices no one applauds, the books no one sees you reading, the skills you practice after work, the mornings you wake up early, the evenings you choose growth over comfort. Day after day, those invisible choices become visible success. One day, you'll look back at this version of yourself, the person who worried about money, the person who doubted whether life could ever be different, the person who felt stuck. And you'll realize something: the biggest change didn't happen when your income increased. It happened the moment your thinking changed. Because wealth isn't only measured by the money in your account, it's measured by the freedom you create, the confidence you build, the opportunities you earn, the life you design instead of simply accepting. Money is powerful, but the person who controls money is even more powerful, and that person can start being you, right now, with one decision. Today, not tomorrow, not next year, today, because your future is quietly watching the choices you're making right now. Make sure you're giving it something worth thanking you for. Before you leave, I want you to answer one question honestly. What's the one money habit you know you need to change, but you've been putting off? Write it in the comments. Not for me, for yourself. Because sometimes the first step toward changing your future is being honest about where you are today. And years from now, you might come back to this video, read your own comment, and realize that was the day everything started to change.